Welcome to my next new look rebuild or post-draft rebuild, whatever you want to call it, but today I am using the Atlanta Falcons. My rules are pretty simple. I have 3 seasons to win a Super Bowl, otherwise the rebuild is a failure. I will be upfront and honest about this. I did up Desmond Ridder's ratings just a little bit. He was a 69 overall, I upped him to a 71 overall, and I also changed it from a normal 2-way star dev trait so we could actually use him in this rebuild. I also decided to make Bijan Robinson a superstar dev trait, and my reason is because I don't feel like that's too far out of the realm of possibility for EA to do. He was far and away the best running back in the draft class, so if they gave him a superstar dev trait, it wouldn't shock me. Outside of the draft though, I don't think Atlanta added too much to their offense during the offseason. They got tight end Jonnu Smith and they signed wide receiver Matt Collins. That seems to be about it. So we are definitely going to need a new wide receiver because I don't think Ridder is going to be able to win a Super Bowl with a receiving core of Drake London, Matt Collins, and Scotty Miller. On the defensive side of the ball, however, they did add a few pieces to the team. They got defensive end Calais Campbell, they got safety Jesse Bates from Cincinnati, they also ended up with Jeff Okudah from the Lions, I hope I said his name right, and then Eddie Goldman, who they signed in the last offseason, retired 13 days after they signed him. He has decided to unretire and come back into the NFL, which is why his experience is listed as a rookie because the guy who made the roster just had to recreate him. I'm not sure how realistic this actually is, but I am going to re-sign Julio Jones so he comes back to Atlanta and plays on the other side of Drake London. I'm also going to sign middle linebacker Myles Jack, 82 overall, superstar depth trait. He'll be a big help to our linebacking core. We are also trading running back Cordero Patterson to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for a second-round pick in the next draft. The main reason I did that is so Bijan Robinson will actually get a majority of the carries. Sometimes Madden, even if the guy has a day 1 starter player tag, will still start the guy that's 1 overall point better even though he's like 33 years old. Here is your starting offense for season 1 of this rebuild. The obvious addition here is wide receiver Julio Jones as our wide receiver 1. I'm still not fully comfortable with our wide receiver room, so in the draft and free agency, I'll definitely be looking at wide receivers. On the defensive side of the ball, the main addition was middle linebacker Myles Jack, but I noticed over here that Zach Harrison is the starter, not Grady Jarrett. And you scroll down here and you see that Grady Jarrett is out for 22 more weeks. So he apparently got injured in the preseason, has a fractured hip, and won't be playing this year. I feel like that is a pretty big loss for this defense. Hopefully it doesn't mess us up too bad. My expectations for season 1 are not going to be that high. I'm going to say maybe 8 wins. If we can get in as a wild card, that would be great. Maybe win a playoff game, that would make it even better. But I'm not expecting too much from this team in season 1. Well, I will definitely take this season in the first year of the Desmond Ridder era. We go 10-7 and win the division. We finish as the number 7 offense in the league and the number 15 defense, the number 4 offense in points per game, and the number 12 defense in points per game. Desmond Ridder had a pretty solid season, I would say. 5,200 yards, 45 touchdowns, did throw 18 interceptions. Would like to see that number get a little bit lower. Running the ball, Bijan Robinson, 1,100 yards and 12 touchdowns, pretty solid for a rookie season. And then receiving Julio Jones with 103 catches, 1,300 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Matt Collins with 19 touchdowns. That is not who I thought would be there. Drake London only got 1 touchdown and 1,100 yards this season. But Matt Collins with the shock of the year. Kyle Pitts ended up with 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. Over on defense, Myles Jack leads the team in tackles with 115. And sacks, Calais Campbell got 10.5, and interceptions, Richie Grant got 3, AJ Terrell got 3, and Mike Hughes got 3. Josh Allen ends up leading the league in passing yards with 5,300, and touchdowns, that goes to Desmond Ridder with 45, and interceptions goes to Teddy Bridgewater, who is apparently a Green Bay Packer. He throws 20 picks this season. Running the ball, Derrick Henry goes for 1,700 yards, leading the league, and in touchdowns, that goes to Nick Chubb with 21. Receiving, Cooper Kupp always puts up an insane season, but Jamar Chase leads the league in receptions, Kupp leads it in yards, and in touchdowns, that goes to Matt Collins. Here is the playoff bracket for season 1. Even though we went 10-7, we still managed to land the 2 seed, and apparently leading the league in interceptions did not slow down the Packers. They are the 1 seed. Unfortunately, we will not be getting out of the wild card round this season. We lose to Philadelphia 17-13. Desmond Ridder finishes 18 for 28, 189 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Jalen Hurts goes 20 for 28 for 265 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. On the ground, it looks like Rashad Penny led the game in attempts, but in yards, that's Bijan Robinson. Only carried the ball 9 times, though. DeAndre Swift found the end zone, and Jalen Hurts found the end zone. Receiving, A.J. Brown apparently gashed us, 8 for 139. Bijan Robinson, 7 for 59 and a touchdown. And apparently the Eagles signed T.Y. Hilton, who goes 6 for 67. Well, at least if you're gonna lose, we lost to the team that ended up losing in the Super Bowl, so we still lost to a very good team. The Ravens win 26-21 over Philadelphia. The Super Bowl MVP is defensive back Rock Ya-Sin. NFL MVP is Josh Allen. Coach of the Year is Zach Taylor. Offensive Player of the Year is going to be Cooper Kupp. Defensive Player of the Year is Max Crosby. Offensive Rookie of the Year is George Pickens. And Defensive Rookie of the Year is Aiden Hutchinson. I really can't do anything about that. EA will never do it, but I wish there was a way I could start at the beginning of next season. Even if you force me to use custom rosters, that would be better than trying to add the rookies in and then have so many rookies in the league. Miles Jack is the only contract that's expiring that I'm actually considering bringing back, but he has very, very little interest in coming back. Apparently, he wants no income tax, and Georgia is on the complete negative side of that. So let's go ahead and offer a player-friendly deal. We'll see if he signs. If not, we'll need a new middle linebacker, obviously, and he thinks free agency will be better for him in the long run. Adding a couple different needs to the team now, wide receiver Julio Jones has decided to retire, and defensive end Calais Campbell. Somehow after that season, Matt Collins does not get upgraded to a star depth trait. That really surprises me. I really honestly thought Ritter would get upgraded to a superstar depth trait as well. But we have Drake London as an 82 overall. We're going to need a new right tackle because Mayfield is not going to cut it there. But that really seems to be the only big issue on offense, is we need a new receiver and a new right tackle. On defense, we're obviously going to need a new left end. We do get Grady Jarrett back next season. Hopefully he doesn't get injured in the preseason again. I thought about looking at corner, but AJ Terrell at a 90 overall and Jeff Okudah at an 80 overall don't seem to be too bad. We may see if there's anyone like significantly better in free agency. I think the rest of the D-line we are fine besides defensive end. And then I might look at middle linebacker, or really all of the linebackers. None of these guys are really as highly rated as I would like them to be. I've only offered 3 contracts here in free agency. There are not a lot of like big names here, especially at positions of need. So I've gone after wide receiver Michael Thomas, right tackle Caleb McGarry. I actually let him walk in re-signing, so we're trying to bring him back. And then defensive end Shelby Harris, who is a scheme fit. He is 32 years old, but hopefully if I don't find someone in the draft, he fills in nicely. Well, let's jump to the next stage. And did we get anybody? We did get Caleb McGarry, but now Michael Thomas is still here along with Shelby Harris. We're still the top offer for both of them though, so let's go ahead and just jump to the next spot. And they're now both gone. We land Shelby Harris. We do not land Michael Thomas. He had no interest in coming here, so I figured that was probably going to be a tough sell. He ended up signing with, let's go check, the Tennessee Titans. Since I lost out on Michael Thomas, I've decided to go after Jarvis Landry. He's the same exact age. He is an 80 overall as opposed to an 85, but I still feel like he'll be a good wide receiver too on the other side of Drake London. And let's see if he signs with us. He is gone because he has decided to become an Atlanta Falcon. Here are the picks that we own going into the draft, and if you've never seen any of my rebuilds, the way I do things is I only pick the first 3 rounds because I am terrible at picking in the later rounds and it feels like a lot of luck anyway. I just let the computer take over and pick rounds 4 through 7. The Houston Texans own the #1 pick in the draft. I always like to see where the first few picks go at least. The Texans are going to take left tackle Jimmy Hills out of Texas. The Vikings with pick 2 are going to take a defensive end out of Texas. And with pick 3, the Buccaneers are going to take a quarterback out of Texas State and Tyler Clancy. We're going to take this trade with the Green Bay Packers. We fall back just 5 spots, but we pick up a 3rd and a 5th round pick in this draft. So we're going to go and take that trade, and we'll see who the Packers have traded up to take. I didn't really see anyone I was absolutely in love with here at pick 22. So with pick 22, the Green Bay Packers are going to take a running back out of Washington. With that 27th pick, I'm going to take middle linebacker DeAndre Newhouse out of Ohio State. He's 21 years old, C block shedding, B pursuit, B tackle, one of the fastest middle linebackers in the class, also has B awareness and B play recognition. So we're going to take Newhouse and he will come in with a hidden depth trade. Now in the 2nd round with pick 15, I'm going to take defensive end Steven Williams out of Tennessee. He does have C awareness, which is a bit concerning, but he has B block shedding, B play rec, B power move, A pursuit, and A tackle. The F injury is also a little concerning, but we're going to take him anyway, and Steven Williams will be a normal depth trait. That kind of sucks to see. A few picks later here in the 2nd round at pick 22, I'm going to take outside linebacker Antonio Riddick out of Auburn. He does have D block shedding, which kind of sucks, but he has A awareness, A man coverage, C play rec, and A pursuit. He's decently fast. He's the 6th or 7th fastest linebacker in the class, depending what, 40-yard dash you look at. So we're going to take Antonio Riddick, who is also a normal depth trade. With pick 22 here in the 3rd round, I'm going to take center Max Blatchford. He is a projected day 3, but I really don't want to miss out on him. He's the strongest center in his class, and he also comes in with A, impact block, B, pass block, and B, run block. I don't know his awareness, which is a little terrifying, but let's take Blatchford, and he is a hidden depth trade. Now in the 3rd round, I'm going to take outside linebacker Emmett Barnett out of Wisconsin, B pursuit and B tackle. He's not incredibly fast. It says he has good speed, but he was the 18th fastest at the combine, but he has A to C awareness and A to C play rec. We're going to go ahead and take him. It's a little bit of a risk, and he is a normal depth trade. Looking at the draft recap, we took a 71 overall middle linebacker, a 71 overall defensive end, a 72 overall outside linebacker, a 72 overall center, and then a 66 overall outside linebacker, a 65 overall safety, a 66 overall outside linebacker, a 71 overall receiver. All right, that might not be a bad pick. And then a 64 overall defensive end and a 63 overall safety. Let's check out Cassidy Choice. Is this guy a hidden depth trait? He is not, but at 71 overall with 95 speed, he could be a lot of fun to use if we were actually usering this team. The best player in the draft was wide receiver Johnny Malone, who comes in as an 80 overall with 93 speed. Dallas took him with the 9th overall pick. Here is your starting offense for season 2 of this rebuild. Obviously, we lose Julio Jones because he retired. We replace him with wide receiver Jarvis Landry, but Drake London will be the #1 receiver this year. Mac Hollins looking to build off his 19 touchdown performance, and then on the offensive line, we added Max Blatchford. On defense, we lost Calais Campbell to retirement as well, so we added Shelby Harris, but we also get Grady Jarrett back this season, so that should really help us out. At middle linebacker, Walker will be the starter for now. Newhouse is like 3 points under him, or maybe 4 points under him, because it looks like he has a boost right now. We'll see where they stand after the season. I really don't know what to expect from this team here in season 2 either, because after season 1, we lost Julio Jones, who had 100 receptions. So we'll see if we are still good enough to win the division. Hopefully we can get back to the playoffs though. We actually got a little better this year. We don't win the division because it looks like that 3rd overall pick that the Buccaneers took is going to be a franchise quarterback, as they always turn into whenever Tampa Bay takes them, in this game at least. We finished as the number 11 offense, but the number 6 defense, so the defense got a lot better. We were the 12th offense in points per game and the number 5 defense in points per game. Desmond Ridder doesn't have the stats that he had last season, but he still goes for 4,800 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. Running the ball, Bijan Robinson ran in for 17 touchdowns, Tyler Algier got 8, and then receiving, Mac Hollins had a 13 touchdown season, Drake London 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns, Kyle Pitts crosses 1,000 yards and gets 4 touchdowns, and Jarvis Landry caught 6 touchdowns. Over on defense, Michael Walker led the team in tackles with 115, and sacks Lorenzo Carter got 9.5, and interceptions, AJ Terrell came away with 7 on the season. Due to the Buccaneers playbook, every time they take a rookie quarterback, he just takes the league by storm, and it's no different this time. Tyler Clancy goes for 5,400 yards to lead the league. Touchdowns goes to Dak Prescott with 44. He ties with Trevor Lawrence. And then interceptions goes to Bryce Young, who threw 18. Carson Wentz found a starting job with the Giants, though. That's just, something I just happened to notice. Running the ball, Derrick Henry leads the league with 1,700 yards and touchdowns. That goes to Leonard Fournette, who had 20. Then receiving, Justin Jefferson led the league in receptions and in yards. And touchdowns goes to Chris Godwin and Christian Kirk, who both ended up with 18. We get to head into the playoffs as the 5 seed this year, but we get to take on the 8 and 9 4 seed Vikings. Apparently the NFC North was awful this season. We will jump into this game with about a minute to go, tied at 24. Ridder out of shotgun. We'll look downfield. He'll make the pass to about the 40-yard line. Both teams have all 3 timeouts. 48 seconds to play. Ridder in shotgun. Bijan Robinson is the running back. He will give it to Robinson, who will run right into a defender. Why did he not cut that back up the middle? But we burn our first timeout with 31 seconds. Ridder lines up under center. From the 38-yard line, it'll be a handoff to Bijan Robinson to the outside. He'll get the first down and more, and that makes up for the last play. All the way down to the 23, and we burn our second timeout. Will we just try to chew away at the clock here and kick a field goal to get the win? Handoff to Bijan Robinson up the middle, and he'll get to about the 19. The Vikings would call the timeout with 8 seconds to play. So we come out for a 36-yard field goal. The kick is away, and it is good. We hold a 3-point lead. Kirk Cousins has 1 second left from his own 27-yard line. He's going to need a miracle here. He'll drop back to pass, stand back in the pocket. He's going to load up and go deep downfield into traffic. That's tipped around and incomplete. Atlanta will win the game. We actually had this game won a little bit earlier. I was simulating the game. We were up 24-17 with about 2 minutes to go. And then Ritter threw an interception. For whatever reason, they were still throwing the ball. And Minnesota got to take over at the Falcons' 6-yard line and then tied the game up. But Ritter finishes 27 for 45, 272 yards, 1 touchdown and a pick. Kirk Cousins goes 22 for 35, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Bijan Robinson goes for 78 yards. Dalvin Cook found the end zone. Tyler Algier also found the end zone. Receiving, Jarvis Landry 8 for 79, Jordan Addison 7 for 58, TJ Hawkinson 7 for 66, and Drake London 6 for 59. Moving on to the next round, we now get to take on the 1 seed Los Angeles Rams. We will also get to jump into this game. Down by 5, we started our own 3-yard line under 2 minutes to go, and Bijan Robinson only gets a couple yards there. That leads to a 2nd and 8. Ritter in shotgun. He will send Bijan Robinson out wide, so now he is the only one in the backfield. We do have 1 timeout remaining. Ritter in the end zone will go downfield. That is caught for the first down. An incomplete pass to Bijan Robinson on the next play brings up a 2nd and 10 with 1:06 to play. From his own 16-yard line, Ritter will take the snap and look to pass. He goes down the middle. That's caught by Bijan Robinson all the way down to the 34. We don't burn the final timeout yet. 45 seconds and the clock is running. Ritter takes the snap and looks to pass. Once again, finds Bijan Robinson over the middle. This will be a short gain, though. Now 25 seconds left to play. The clock is still running. Ritter takes the snap, throws downfield. That is caught for the first down into Rams territory, and we burn our final timeout there. 19 seconds left to play. From the 49-yard line, Ritter in shotgun. Robinson is the running back. He'll take the snap. He's going to look to go deep here. Ritter loading up and launching this to the end zone into traffic, and this one will be tipped around and incomplete. I don't think we need to be launching Hail Marys yet, but apparently that's what we're going to do. 2nd and 10. 10 seconds left to play. Ritter drops back to pass again. He's going to load up and go deep one more time. Into the end zone, into traffic one more time, and it's tipped around, and that will fall incomplete. 1 second left to play. Ritter back in shotgun. Can we get this pass off, and can someone please come down with it? Ritter drops back. He's losing time. Now he's going deep down the middle of the field, and that one will be intercepted, and the Rams are headed to the NFC Championship game. And are we actually going to bring him down? We finally do. The game glitched out a little bit and I had to leave franchise and come back into it, which is why you're seeing these stats from this screen. Daniel Jones, who is apparently the quarterback of the Rams now, goes for 354 yards and 2 touchdowns. Desmond Ritter, 428 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Running the ball, Bijan Robinson found the end zone twice. Cam Akers got in once. Receiving, Jarvis Landry, 10 for 147 and a score. Cedric Wilson, 6 for 123. Mac Hollins, 9 for 101 and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp had a touchdown, and Tutu Atwell got a 52-yard touchdown. For the 2nd year in a row, the team that beat us ended up losing in the Super Bowl, this time to Buffalo, 35-12. Super Bowl MVP goes to Josh Allen. NFL MVP goes to Trevor Lawrence. We got Coach of the Year with Arthur Smith. Offensive Player of the Year is Justin Jefferson. Defensive Player of the Year is Von Miller. The Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to go to the quarterback in Tampa Bay, and the Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to a defensive tackle with the Raiders. We might be losing right guard Chris Lindstrom. He has no interest in coming back to Atlanta. And there was another player here, Michael Walker. He has very low interest. I think we're just going to go with the guy I drafted in the 1st round last year. So we'll offer a contract to Chris Lindstrom. He's going to be the only one we offer a contract to. Let's offer him a very player-friendly deal just to try to get him back. I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to test out free agency. Here is the offense before I jump into free agency. Obviously, we still have quarterback Desmond Ritter. He's up to a 78 right now. Bijan Robinson's up to a 94 overall. Drake London is currently an 85. Mac Hollins gets to stay a star depth trait despite back-to-back really good seasons. And obviously, we'll need a new right guard. On defense, AJ Terrell is now a 95 overall superstar X Factor, so that is obviously pretty good. Williams is up to a 74 overall. Our D-line still looks solid. I'll see if there's a better left end in free agency. Middle linebacker right now is 74 overall. Not great that he's back down to a normal depth trait here, but we'll probably just roll with Newhouse. Before jumping in, I have $118 million this offseason, and we're going to try to spend a good majority of that as long as there are some star players in free agency. Just so you guys are not confused about me offering a contract to Chris Lindstrom, I just offered him a very player-friendly deal, and we still can't compete with the Raiders here, so I'm going to have to withdraw. There's honestly not a lot of star players at positions of need available. Chris Lindstrom is still here, Jalen Hurts is available, Justin Herbert, Mike Evans, Brandon Ayuk, and Gabe Davis. I have offered a contract to wide receiver Calvin Ridley, so we'll jump over here. You obviously saw the Ridley offer already. Strong safety Julian Love, right guard Trey Turner, and left guard Forrest Lamp. That is really my only free agent class I can go for. We're not able to throw away a ton of money, and we get Love, Trey Turner, and Forrest Lamp, but I don't get Calvin Ridley. That is kind of surprising. We were his top offer. Where did he end up signing? He ended up going to the New York Giants. Well, since I lost out on Calvin Ridley, how about we go after wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones? He is a scheme fit, 25 years old, 82 overall, and we'll see if he signs with us. He is gone because he has decided to become a member of the Atlanta Falcons. This will be my entire free agent class. Even though we still have $100 million in cap space, there's just not a lot of players available that really would help us right now. Jumping to the NFL draft, the Arizona Cardinals have the #1 pick, and with that pick, they are going to take an outside linebacker from Notre Dame. The Bears, with the 2nd pick in the draft, are going to take a defensive end out of Oregon, and with the 3rd pick in the draft, the Raiders will take an outside linebacker out of Oklahoma State. For our 1st round pick, though, we're going to trade this year's 1st, next year's 1st, and a 2nd for next year for defensive tackle Jonathan Allen. With our 2nd round pick, though, we're going to take right guard Eric Gresham out of Clemson, and he will come in with a hidden depth trade. But for our 3rd round pick, I have made another trade. We have traded 2 3rd round picks and our right outside linebacker to the Vikings for defensive end Harrison Phillips. And the reason I did that is because I drafted Riddick last year. He is a scheme fit. He will be the starting right outside linebacker, and now we have a starting left end. The only pick I made was right guard Eric Gresham. He is a 73 overall. We got a 64 overall tight end, a 63 overall safety, a 66 overall right end, and a 65 overall defensive tackle. The best player in the draft was the outside linebacker that went #1 to the Cardinals. He comes in as an 83 overall. One final trade I am making: wide receiver Jarvis Landry and a 2nd round pick to Seattle for wide receiver Tyler Lockett. Now, here is your starting offense for the final season of this rebuild. Desmond Ridder is a 76 overall quarterback, Bijan Robinson's at a 92. We added Tyler Lockett and Donovan Peoples-Jones to this offense, so hopefully the offense gets even better than it's been so far. On defense, Riddick will now be the starter at right outside linebacker, like I said during the draft, and Jonathan Allen is now our main defensive tackle. I felt like we needed an upgrade over the other guy that we had. He was only a 78 overall, so bringing in Jonathan Allen should really help out. Before I simulate this final season, we are currently an 83 overall offense, an 85 overall defense, and an 83 overall team. Not the best team I've ever built, but I don't think it's the worst either. The expectations for this season are pretty obvious. We need to win a Super Bowl, otherwise the rebuild is a failure. We've managed to win a playoff game. We've made the playoffs both years, but let's try to finish the job. Well, we apparently sucked this season, but so did the rest of the NFC. Somehow we go 8-9 and get in as a wild card team. We don't even win the division, which is generally how you see an 8-9 team get in. I imagine we are the 7th seed. We are the 11th ranked offense and the 16th ranked defense. We had the #8 offense in points per game and the #14 defense in points per game. Desmond Ridder throws for almost 4,700 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 20 interceptions. That is a career high. Running the ball, Bijan Robinson, 1,400 yards and 17 touchdowns. Receiving, Donovan Peoples-Jones, 1,100 yards and 9 scores. Drake London, 1,109 scores. And Tyler Lockett, 1,110 touchdowns. Kyle Pitts ended up with 6 touchdowns on the season. On defense, leading the team in tackles is right outside linebacker Antonio Riddick with 121. Sacks goes to Grady Jarrett, who got 11, and interceptions, Antonio Riddick got 3, and Jeff Okudah got 3. For the 2nd straight season, Tyler Clancy leads the league in passing yards, this time with 5,200. Touchdowns goes to Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, who both threw 45. Interceptions, Ridder ties Dak Prescott. Hendon Hooker is apparently now the starter in Minnesota, even though his name is kind of censored there. But let's go see. I want to take a look and see how good Tyler Clancy is. He is already an 85 overall quarterback. Only a star depth trait kind of surprises me. What about running the ball? That goes to Derrick Henry for, I think, the 3rd straight season, 1,900 yards. And touchdowns goes to Najee Harris with 21. Receiving, leading the league in receptions is Will Dissly, the tight end for the Cowboys. All right, that's a different one. Yards is going to be Chris Godwin with 1,500, and touchdowns goes to George Pickens with 16. Like I suspected, we are the number 7 seed in the playoffs, and we get to take on the 2 seed New York Giants here in the wildcard round. We will jump into this game with 2:07 to play. We are down by 8 at our own 28-yard line with a 4th and 7. Ritter in shotgun. Will take the snap and look to pass. He's under pressure, and he is getting sacked on the play. The Giants would score a touchdown following that, so we're down by 15 with about 20 seconds to go. Ritter from the 2-yard line will go to the end zone, and that is incomplete. Obviously, we would need a touchdown and then get the onside kick. It is 2nd and goal. 20 seconds to play. He's going to the end zone, and that is a touchdown for the Falcons. We at least make this a 1-score game. As long as this extra point goes through, we are only going to be down by 8. With 18 seconds to go, the kick is away, and it is good. Here we go, lined up for the onside kick. Season on the line here. The kick is away, and it'll be easily recovered by the Giants, and they will get out of here with it. Ultimately, this rebuild ends in a failure. We only managed to win 1 playoff game. I feel like we still built a solid team. We made the playoffs every season, even though this year we managed to go 8-9 and somehow get in as a wild card. Apparently, CJ Stroud is now the quarterback of the Giants. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will talk to you next time.